26 degrees Celsius this beautiful Monday morning in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. Good morning and welcome to your daily dose of sunshine, because I don't know what this is if it isn't sunshine. Good morning and welcome to Sunrise. Good
morning, I'm Kayla Maguire. It's the start of the week.
Indeed it is.
And a very important week, because right now we're looking at all the political parties in Nigeria.
Indeed,
and
Kayla,
how they have been doing their primaries and all of the drama that's followed. And of course, looking forward to what's next.
For the political parties.
Yes, what's next?
In the meantime, I think that we can begin to urge them, especially for the ruling party whose primaries has been largely concluded. Yesterday, we saw the emergence of the president. Yeah. He was returned with a whopping 10.99 million votes. The only thing I kept on thinking about, Kayla, is that I hope the counting wasn't done in the manner that we've seen the direct primaries being conducted in many of the units that have gone viral. I hope that they knew how to count 1, 2, 3 to 10.99 million.
10 to 100.
Exactly.
300.
So if the counting was done as we know that counting should be done, they say that they have returned the president with 10.99 million votes. So we imagine that largely the primaries of the ruling party, particularly at the federal level, has now been concluded. And because they are the party in power, they still have governance to do, because Nigerians will still be expecting them to deliver on the promises they made in their first term, because it's not going to be over until May 29 next year. So right now, is it possible for them to continue to look at the issues that have to do with security, the economy? As the president was telling us that if we're losing weight, he's losing weight too.
If you've not slept, I haven't slept.
He hasn't slept. So, Mr. President, is it possible for us to see the results of this not sleeping? Because I imagine that Nigerians will certainly want to be asking for that now.
I mean, you know, but governance is going to be very difficult. And it's a shame that this has become our reality as a country. When politicking is going on, it's almost as though nothing else is happening in the country. And for many years, we've seen this happen where the whole year before an election, there's almost no governance going on. It's just politicking. This should change. We create this bizarre theater and try to make it normal. It's not normal that because politicking is going on, governance takes a back seat. But hey, we're hoping that every politician, especially the ones who are returning, would focus on governance as well as politicking. You can walk and chew gum at the same time.
We want to believe that. We want to believe, especially when lives are at stake, Kayla. We still haven't heard about the release of the abducted children and teachers from Oyo State who were taken from the schools around the Orire local government area in Oyo State. Those children, the teachers, are still very much in captivity. Yesterday, we also heard that there was an attack on people who were conducting vigil somewhere in Kwara State. About 3 people were killed in that particular attack. And so we get to hear bits and bobs of things like this across the country. And to be honest, we are still very much concerned, because politicians cannot be living in a world of their own when the people are still wondering, are you still for us or are you against us? That's a big question. Well, we will be asking many more questions, because we do know that, yes, primaries are still very much on the burner of because, I mean, there will be post-primaries reconciliation. As we know, a lot of people will not exactly be happy from the fallouts of these primaries. And there certainly might be litigation. And then given the High Court judgment given to the youth parties, the National Youth Party last week by Justice Umar, we believe that a transfer window of sorts has been thrown open. Shall we be seeing, or should we be looking forward to alignments and realignments? These are big questions that will be coming in the coming days. But as Kayla did highlight, those whose tickets have been secured and who are currently in office, is it possible for them to also pay attention to what they were elected for in the first time?
On that High Court judgment, there have been conversations around it, and some people say, well, this could turn out to be some kind of academic exercise, and some people are telling political parties it may not be very wise of you to start arguing that, oh, there's a court judgment now, we should realign. No, maybe just follow the old one, because there'll be appeals, you do not know where this is going to go. So it's a tough one. But like Marco was talking about, the internal wranglings in political parties as a result of these primaries will be our first conversation this morning. We heard the APC National Chairman, Professor Nentawe Yowata, saying, no, we're going to settle all the aggrieved parties. Everyone is going to be fine. Are they going to be fine? I remember this was what the question was when everyone was joining the APC. We asked, will this party be able to manage the political ambitions of all these people? Is an implosion inevitable? You know, these were the questions. But they say they can handle it. But we'll be talking about some of the issues that have come up as a result of these primaries right now.
In just a moment, so we ask you to hang on to your seat. We'll be back in just a moment. Please stay with us. So we did tell you that yesterday the All Progressives Congress concluded its own primaries, especially with the nomination of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as its flag bearer, its presidential flag bearer for the 2027 general elections. But at the state level, there have been all manner of primaries conducted for governorship seats, for state assembly seats, for senatorial and all legislative seats, so to speak. And they haven't been without their fallout. Well, this morning we're focusing on that of Lagos, and Mr. Tunde Anthony joins us now. He is a chieftain of the All Progressives Congress. Good morning, Mr. Anthony. It's good to see you this morning. How have you been receiving the conclusion of primaries within your party, particularly in Lagos State?
Hello, good morning, my friend. Good morning, the lady. My first time with you is your vice from Mamona here as well. And let me first say a big congratulations to Mr. President for his overwhelming acceptance by the APC party and for his fantastic nomination to run again on behalf of our party. Well, to your question, Marwe, interesting. Lagos has been peaceful. One thing I give credit to the members of the party who behave themselves in a way beyond expectation. No violence, security was good, but party could have done better. We see a lot of people stepping down for one another for the party, for the sake of the party anyway. Things turn out very well in Lagos. There are one or two misguided understanding regarding ladies' representation. I think now we only have one lady in the midst of our reps, and which is not good enough. But like you said, like you know about us, we always make a kind of adjustment to make that happen. But beyond that, we're all good. But the processes is something we should work on. I would say that to you, we need to improve on this process now. And like you said the last time I was in the studio, you said this direct primaries won't be fair, won't be tidy. And to an extent, it wasn't, but we managed it. But if you want to continue doing this, we have to do it a lot better, much more better than what we had in the last few days for these direct primaries. It is not fair enough to the members of the party, to the people who contested, right? And the party has to come a lot more better with solution to this problem. We have to.
So speak to us about some of the imperfections that you noticed as a party member.
Well, see something, right? Few weeks ago, we had party registration. You understand me? I expect there should be a data in the voting centers. People just don't come and line up without cross-checking anything. That is where I fault the General Secretary. Instead of attacking Dr. Fayemi, these are things he should do. These are things that should be done. I mean, what is INEC doing there? What has INEC cross-checked? People are on the queue. We have our papers in our hand. There is no paper for them to cross-check. Anybody could have lined up and say, okay, we want to vote. We're APC members. It doesn't happen like that. We spend so much resources on building a database for party registration. We should test that data now, our own internal election. That's not good enough, to be sincere. We don't do all that kind of fulfilling unrighteousness, putting some kind of images out, and when we need it more, we cannot use them. So what is the point? Anybody could queue up and say, well, I want to vote. How do you cross-check the people on the queue? How do you cross-check that? You understand me? I mean, that part of it was, for me, not good enough. And that is where the party secretary should put more of his effort. We have a database in the party. Each member is registered in the ward. Everybody has a ward that they registered. Voting we have done by the ward. I voted in my ward. I key in my ward. There are no ballot papers. There were nothing. All you do, just stand there and they count you. So we need to improve on that for crying out loud. We need to improve on that. They need to understand that very clearly. And what we are trying to do, we want to get everybody involved. Members have registered. Then let us know how well we have done. We have done our own part, our own bits. Let the party show us all those exercises are not a futility. That is my own take on that, my very honest take on that. Very honest take and very frank take on that. And they cannot wiggle that up. Because I was there and there was no database to cross-check anywhere. And that is the truth.
One of the things that we saw in the primaries was people holding up these papers. I imagine that is some form of identification. Why was it important for them to be holding those identifications that they had if there was nothing to cross-check them against?
Well, very interesting question you just asked me now. Of course, that was the registration we did when they say party registration is on course. And we should have gotten the card from the party, but that is a proof of registration. So that is a paper that every member took to the voting center, to your ward to vote. But was that cross-check? By any means, it wasn't. It wasn't cross-check. That is where the party should be more upstanding, right? Should be more upstanding that these are members who are here to vote for candidates, not just anyone just queue up with the paper. Nobody even checking the paper. They are just counting. You could see all over the camera. It's full. Everywhere is obvious. You queue up, you roll the white paper up, and that was what happened. You could do better.
But even the counting process, I'm sure that you have seen videos. Now, I don't know whether this happened in Lagos, but you can tell us. You've seen videos where there was a counting that certainly wasn't proper. It looked rather fraudulent, where people are jumping numbers, and it seemed like manufacturing numbers. Maybe they were counting ghosts. Maybe we just couldn't see them. It was possible that they were on the queue, but we weren't seeing them.
Okay.
But to the ordinary eye, what we were seeing in terms of the people that were physically on the ground, they were certainly jumping numbers, manufacturing, going from things like 100 to 1,000, more or less, 1,000 to 1,005, and all in the space of one or two people. As a party member, did those kinds of situations come to you, and how will a party, or how will your party correct instances like that? Should they come up as things that people are unhappy about?
Okay, now, like I said, party did a registration exercise, clearly. So if there's a proof with the party, the database is there, they will check. You understand me? And you will go. I saw some of those videos on social media, to be honest with you. But the fact is that it happened in cases where the opponents have about 10 people behind their own line, and the other opponent has a long line. So that shows you an overwhelming victory anyway. So that is just what it is. But it could be done in a more sane manner, to be sincere. But that was a clear picture of overwhelming defeat to the other aspirants. So I honestly don't tell you it's good, but to save time and everything, you understand me? I mean, some of those things will happen, but where we have a database being cross-checked, that will not happen. That will not happen. So there is a gap there. We can't just leave the back door open and thinking because the front door is shut, we are okay. That is my position on that.
Well, Mr. Bank Anthony, well, there is some breaking news from your party right now. At the Lagos State chapter, of course, they've released the names of the candidates who emerged victorious in the House of Representatives and State House of Assembly primaries ahead of the elections. So we're seeing this list that is signed by the APC chairman. His name is Cornelius Ojelabi. And then according to that document, 24 candidates secured the party's ticket for the House of Representatives, and then 40 candidates emerged for the Lagos State House of Assembly. And, you know, I wanted you to speak on one of those situations, and it has to do with Agege constituency. We saw that issue coming up where they said, look, I was clearly in the lead. Two people said they were clearly in the lead, and then they were accusing Mr. Obasa of influencing the outcome of those elections. Since he is also going, he's actually returned. I'm seeing that he's the one that has been returned for the Agege federal constituency. So we saw that situation in Lagos, and we did hear about things like that in other parts of the country, where it does feel like someone who's a member of the All Progressives Congress will be in the lead in the counting process, and then all of a sudden, silence, and then someone else is announced. What did you make of that situation, and how do you think the party could have handled that? And on this Agege matter, what kind of reconciliation is going to happen now that the list has been released?
See, to be sincere with you, we have two sides to a story. Obasa is in charge of Agege, APC, 100%. He's the leader there, understand me? He's very prominent. He has brought a lot of development there, like what I did in Surulere. And people will say that he is influencing. You see, politics is about influence. You understand me? And people who claim they are in the lead and the result got changed. You see, the point is that these primaries were done in the manner that it was from different wards. It was not a central thing. Right? If you are in, let's say Abuja now, you are in Katampe, I mean Gusape, you are in Kubwa, you are in you are in Use, that is it. So you might be leading in Gusape and people are roasting you in Katampe. So people this result does not come from a particular ward alone. They are result from different wards in each local government. So if you are leading in a particular ward, does not mean you have taken the lead of all the local government wards. No, it doesn't happen like that. And don't forget that the aspirant cannot be in more than one position, his own ward. So it's very difficult to make a judgment of people trying to throw the names of who they think is relevant. You could hear people say that even the president told me to step down. Somebody in Calabar, somebody in Uyo, everybody's talking about the president, telling them to do this. I mean, they're just grandstanding, to be sincere. The decision is not perfect, and like I said, but people accusing people of influencing positions, results, are very secondary matter.
You know, just a thought on my part, and I've been thinking about this for a few days, really. A lot of the people who were working for the Tunde administration, who resigned, as the president asked, to go and get tickets from their party, some of them were not very successful. Case in point, the Minister of Foreign Affairs. What's the party, what happens next? Just so you can give us an idea, what happens to these people who resigned their positions in the Tunde administration to get the tickets of their party, the APC, of which you're a chieftain of, and didn't get those tickets? What happens next?
Excuse me, your answer is as good as mine. You see, in politics, the most important, respectable position is to be elected. And they want to attain the heights. Oh, you know what? They didn't make it. I mean, the president or the governors in their magnanimity could give them a second chance by reappointing them, or probably they go and start something different or be in politics. Do you understand me? So it's not about what happened next to them. If they want to go back to government, they might probably seek readdress. It can happen, or, you understand me, they keep an active political influence, building it for the next election. That's the bottom line. So it was a choice they made on their own. Don't let anybody tell you the president or the governor tell me to go and resign and I'm continuing to support me. No way. It was their choice. So they should know. I mean, you cannot take the benefit and leave the burden. It's part of it.
I mean, if you were president, Mr. Bank Anthony,
yeah,
what would you do?
No, I mean, you've left my government that I appointed you to serve and work with me. But, I mean, you have not been able to be successful by leaving the government. I mean, it's a two side of the same coin. You know, if I find it very, very important, right, I'll probably bring you back, but no one is indispensable.
Mm. Let me get your thoughts on the president's emergence. As of course, it was expected, wasn't it? It was very interesting when we saw that there was someone who was contesting against him. It was expected that he was going to be consensus candidate of your party. In the coming months, there are things that we want to hear about, who his running mate is going to be. And then, of course, what is he going to be promising the Nigerian people this time? For many people who have been looking at the elections, they say 2023 was APC versus the Nigerian. But 2027 will be Tinubu versus the Nigerian. Because what has happened since he came into office is that the quality of life of millions of Nigerians have been diminished. And they blame the president for it. Yes, they can explain, your party has explained, his government has explained, but as much as you explain, there's nothing in my pocket. So that you're basically not making any moves in my view, you know. So for the Nigerian people who are very dissatisfied with the president, what do you think this election is going to be like? Because if someone is coming up on the ballot and promising that, look, I have a better idea, he may have to, you know, deal with that as president. But, you know, just so you can speak to the dissatisfaction the Nigerian people have with your principle.
Like someone said, right, you know something, it's very difficult to please everybody. The government in Nigeria today is in a very difficult situation, to be sincere. And one of the problems we are having now, not only as government, as Nigerians, the insecurity of these careless killers, these mindless people that are making things extremely difficult. You see, some people are thinking of, oh, there's no money in my pocket. Some people are thinking, how safe will I sleep tonight? What happened to my children in school? Understand me? What happened to me being on the bus? So you see, the point is that, and everybody talks to the government about it. Fair enough. But the point is that we need to dig deeper for a solution, right? Politicians all over the world about promises. Right now in the UK, see what is going on here. But to be sincere, Starmer came into the prime time with an overwhelming majority. Everything is almost out of his hand. In Nigeria today, if APC, as like you said, we have re-elected Bola Tinubu as our candidates overwhelmingly, there's a lot of expectation on him, right, within the party. Then the Nigerian people, someone like you, I mean, I've seen your faces in the telly regularly. I mean, you've always, you are growing, so is my way growing. So when you talk for the millions of Nigerians, definitely, are you excluded? Am I excluded? No. But you know something? There's a belief in the system. There's a belief in the country. There's a belief that things will get better, and we too we are not being laid back from that aspect. But I know my party could do better. And the last election was against APC. It's not against Bola Tinubu. No, it's not against Bola Tinubu. We are still, it's APC, PRP, NDC, NDC, what have you. We are still going to speak to Nigerians and seek their consent, their support is very important. And let me say something here about what our General Secretary said to Dr. Fayemi in an interview with Bilo. I honestly believe he did not watch that interview to the fullest. No way, he did not. So, I mean, that kind of arrogancy is not what we need. from a section of the party. No. If Bashiru had said that, I'm a bit disappointed in him. No. Talking about a two-time governor, a former minister, somebody who was key to the struggle, which I was part of. So you tell him to leave our party. I mean, you just make careless statement. Stop grandstanding. This is not the time to grandstand as a sec of our party. We need people on board, right? We need people on board. We need credible people on board. Dr. Fayemi Kayode is a credible member of the party. And I don't expect you, the General Secretary, to talk about a two-time governor, a minister, a key member of the struggle against the military like that, because I'm General Secretary of the party. I will tell you, I believe you did not listen to that interview. I want you to go back to your below and listen very carefully. The capture being circulated does not make justice to that interview at all. That I can tell you. When I read your comment, if it's true from the General Secretary Bashiru, I'm disappointed. Steadily disappointed. If it's personal something against me, you have to sort it out yourself, but not a comment from your office as General Secretary of the party. That's my take on that.
Well, some people say it's indicative of perhaps what is to follow, because apparently it doesn't appear that the party leadership is brooking any criticism. And for Kayla's question not to come to pass, that opposition that the president could be facing, even from within his own party, will be dependent on how the fallout of the primaries that have now been conducted are managed. Because some people will say, what exactly? I was watching the Minister of Health, coordinating Minister of Health in Bauchi, and he was saying something to the effect that they intend to visit every dissatisfied aspirant and see how they can bring them into the fold. And if they do not win today, they can always win tomorrow, etc., etc. But that will be in places where free and fair primaries were conducted. In the places where people were cheated out of their positions, where the process was not transparent, was not fair, what do you think should happen in the APC's reconciliation process?
You see, to be sincere with you, right, the issue of cheating, and the internal whatever, I don't expect any kind of unnecessary utterances from party chieftain, then to party elders, so to say. I recall me an elder to Bashiru in all standard, and it's the truth, right? And the internal thing, people will feel disgruntled about some things, right, within the party, within the primaries. Kayode spoke out of being sincere. I mean, Ekiti State, had a beautiful primaries. The governorship election is next month. He's not contesting any election. So he's not talking from his own personal experience or what he feels that is not normal about. But he spoke about getting it right. And for the minister going around for the conciliation, talking to Aspirant, is beyond Aspirant. Aspirant is just one, but the followers, some people cry more than the bereaved. So we need to appeal to our members across board. If you have the conscience that someone feels cheated, then you appeal to them across board, not to because the Aspirant alone cannot win an election. It's an across-board scenario. We need to go to different world to talk to people, to appeal to them directly and indirectly. We should all come together and work together, because politics is always local at the end of the day. And politician does not want to jump ship just like that. It takes a lot for people to lead. I know in Nigeria people say we don't have an ideology, but the followers, they have strong ideology. Maybe the leaders don't have it. It's like a Man U supporter going to Man City. That would be difficult, extremely difficult. But the players can move from Man U to Man City.
Do you see your party going through any litigations ahead of the polls?
Well, you know what? It's not impossible. I will not tell you it's not going to happen. Well, I will not say that it's not going to happen. It might happen, but we will manage it. You understand me? We have lawyers who will go to court and take those kind of things on. And we hope that will not probably cause us any kind of serious damage. Nothing is perfect.
Well, fingers crossed as we look ahead to the 2027 elections. But in the meantime, Nigerians are appealing to your party and the government of your party to look at the reasons why they were elected in the first instance for the first 4 years and go back to governance even while they're managing all of this fallout. We have to thank you for joining us, Mr. Tunde Bank Anthony, the chieftain of the All Progressives Congress. Thank you for speaking with us this morning.
Thank you very much. We are not losing our eyes on the ball. Governance continues. Thank you very much.
All right, let's take a break now. When we come back, we'll still stay with the party primaries, but this time, taking a perspective from the National Democratic Congress. In just a moment, please stay with us. Well, we did say that we're going to be joined by somebody from the Nigerian, not the national, Nigerian Democratic Congress, the NDC. And joining us now, studios this morning, is Honorable Benjamin Oyamedan, who is an aspirant to the House of Representatives from Eastern Northeast, Eastern Southeast Federal Constituency. Good morning and welcome to Sunrise Daily.
Good morning, madam. Thank you for having me.
Yes, so here we are looking towards the primaries that your party is conducting, and it does appear that they're going to be going down the route of consensus. Is this something that sits down well with you?
I believe NDC officials, the national chairman, and other leaders, senators, DC, Excellency, former governor of Bayelsa State, they know what is going to be the best for the party. As you know, we are the new bride in town, and they are trying everything possible best to make sure they put a good mechanism in place to make sure that in subsequent election, they will know how to go about it. The process is tedious, but they are giving all their best to make sure that they feed in good candidates that will be able to win the election for them.
What, can I ask you why you've decided to pitch tent with a party that is relatively new?
Good question. NDC is viable, not just viable, and it's a party that we all see apart from the ruling party that doesn't have any litigation at the moment. And we're following our leader, Peter Obi and His Excellency Engineer Kwakwanso from the last election. I believe politics is all about loyalty, and we just have to follow him down to wherever he goes.
So you are an obedient?
100%.
Not a member of the Labour Party?
I'm not a member of the Labour Party.
You never joined the Labour Party?
I joined the Labour Party. I left when Peter Obi, after the general election, and I moved down to PDP, back to PDP.
But now you've left PDP?
Yeah, I left PDP and I returned. I went to NDC.
And now you're with NDC?
Exactly.
Some people say you're just being an opportunist. How would you respond to that? Because you've just been leaving, you've left the Labour Party, you went back to PDP, now you're with NDC.
Yeah.
Is this about furthering your own ambition? Or this is really about something that you believe in?
It's something that I believe in. I would like to throw more light into that. We are Nigerians. And you shouldn't say that is not an opportunity. Let us be honest about it. And nobody wants to stay in the room that is unhealthy. And we all pray that if Labour Party walked out, we'll have actually stayed in the Labour Party. I've been in PDP since 2003. And since that time, and when Peter Obi decided to run for presidency, we all moved down to Labour Party for that simple reason.
Hold on, you've been in PDP since 2003?
In 2003.
That is over 20 years ago.
Yeah, when I was in secondary school.
You joined the political party in secondary school?
When I was in secondary school, I was already working for PDP. Yeah.
Were you 18?
Come on, I was already 18 then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so if you joined the PDP as far back as 2003, I mean, we're just speaking with a guest now who said that oftentimes when you have to make appeals, it's not just to aspirants, you also have to appeal to followers because it's very difficult for them to change their party just like that, to change their loyalty just like that. So how was it easy for you to just change your loyalty in the manner that you have done?
I was molded in a society where you see things and said, this is the right thing to do. Politics is not just about party anymore. There are good people in APC. There are good people in ADC. There are also good people in NDC. It depends on what you think, what this person is bringing to the table. What can he do? What is his antecedent? For example, some of us left PDP and joined Peter Obi in Labour Party because we know his political mantra and what the message he was preaching. So let me tell you why I went back to PDP after the general election. I went back to PDP because Edo election was an off-cycle election where I campaigned for my very dear brother, Dr. Aspirant of the PDP. Because at that particular time, we, the ASANs, feel that we were marginalized, which was true. And we have two candidates. PDP gave us a ticket to Aswell, who is from Ubiaja, Esan Southeast. And APC gave a ticket to Edo South person. Along the line, they changed the ticket and gave it to Edo Central because they know where the odd was going. So when you look at this, you will not begin to ask, should I remain in PDP? If Aswell, Igodalo, or I see somebody who was better than him in another party, I will have quickly joined force with that person and make sure that person wins the election. That's what matters. It doesn't mean what the party says because it's not party that is ruling or making policies. It's that are the people that you elected into position, that you elected through a political party that went to House of Assembly, National Assembly, or maybe Senate, or even presidency that made this policy that govern this country. So we shouldn't just be looking at party alone to say they are APC, they are PDP, they are all the same. I understand, but there are people who are there. The party officials does not have any influence of any policies or bills being passed in the National Assembly.
Which is actually an oddity, which is an aberration, because that's not how it's supposed to work.
Yeah.
It should be, right now, we're in a situation where the tail is wagging the dog.
I understand.
The dog ought to wag the tail. The political parties are supposed, especially the ones that win office, and that's why parties want to be in majority.
Exactly.
They are the ones who are supposed to tell the government,
you
know, what it is that they have campaigned to the people for, and and the government of the day now has duty to carry that out. But clearly, that's not how it works.
I understand.
But let me come back to your situation in Edo State. So you left to support Mr. Aswell Igodalo, assuming he had
full
won.
chest.
Just say it. Assuming he had won and was governor today in Edo State, would you have left the PDP?
At the moment, PDP has not feed a candidate for us to have emulated. That we say, okay, this person is so-and-so.
That is at the moment. I'm saying,
at the moment.
Assuming he had won. I'm just painting the
picture. I have a leader before my dear brother, Dr. Aspirant of the PDP. As long as Peter Obi was on the ballot, wherever Peter Obi goes, I will have also gone and vote for him. Just like what we did in Edo State. You remember the former governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, His Excellency. He was the one that made the Obedient movement known when he came to national TV and said, Obedient is a household name in Edo State. We actually look at it, Edo State is the headquarters of Obedient movement. That is where he actually originated. That's where he started from. So during the election, nobody, you know, Edo people, we are one of the most electorally educated in Edo State, in the whole country. If in statistics, we are very, very educated. There is no politician that can tell us this is how it's supposed to be. Because we always believe this is equity, fairness, and justice. So we know where the cars and the odds go. They will follow it. We don't want you to be angry. We don't want you to be angry. But when it comes to the things of making decisions, politicians will always say this is our interest. But we'll tell them, giving you this interest will not favor the people of this particular region. So that is what that is what is currently happening, and it's happening, and we continue to maintain that structure. So the political structure in Edo State is slightly different. I will have also gone to tell the governor of Edo State, say, I supported you, and I did this for a reason. Please permit me to support whoever I want to support. But knowing him and know who he is, Dr. Aspirant, he's somebody who understands. He will say, okay, as long as he's not an anti-party thing, I can equally go and do my own thing. Just like what Obaseki did in Edo State. He never asked PDP people to say you must vote for a PDP candidate. Even at that time, PDP was in disarray. Because His Excellency, the current Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Winky, was the one that all of us were also clamoring for to become the presidential candidate, who worked for the party then. He worked for the party and labored for the party, held the party strong and gave it a life, sponsored governors to win election, senators to win election. But His Excellency Alhaji Atiku came from somewhere and just want to take over the party, and everywhere, and the delegate at the primary were dollarized. So he got angry, and all of us also got angry. You can see where the chain of command is going. So it doesn't mean who actually owns the party, who is there, but it is the person, the people, or the party are presenting. If a party presents a candidate that we members cannot defend, like we'll find our different path. It's not a marriage that we cannot divorce. We can divorce ourselves at any time.
So it's okay.
Catholic marriage.
No, not in our church, no.
It
is better to divorce a marriage that is toxic than to stay in a marriage that become an obituary. You understand?
Yes. Okay. All right. So let's talk about. And I do have to give you some nuance.
Yeah.
The reason why we're asking all of these questions about these, it's a lot of movement for a young politician.
You're very correct.
It's because we're beginning to see a culture in Nigeria where there is no staying power, where we have politicians who are just jumping from one place to the other, achieving whatever political aims that they have, and without a care as to the structures. And political parties are important.
Yeah, very, very important.
And ideologies of political parties they're very serious things. We're trying to build our country to one where we can trust our institutions.
Yeah.
So when we see a culture of people who are moving, we've seen this before.
Yeah.
This happened when Peter Obi was in the Labour Party.
Yeah.
We saw everyone riding on the coattails of that. And a lot of them came into office.
Yeah. And they jumped the ship.
And almost all of them jumped the ship.
Yeah.
And now look at the problem with the Labour Party, which means that party itself now has issues.
Yeah.
Then we now see it happening with other political parties as well.
Yeah.
So we're afraid as Nigerians, as patriotic Nigerians, that we are destroying political parties with this behavior.
Yeah.
How can the Nigerian people from Esan Northeast and Esan Southeast, how can they trust you?
That's the most important thing, and I like that question. You know, politics is about knowing and seeing other people's antecedents and what they have done before. One thing we have in this country that is becoming common, that is relating to what you're saying right now, that Nigerians are beginning to fed up, is that there are policies and there are rules that need to be made. I have a 6-point agenda. On that list, on the first on my list, is Child Protections Bill. And I have a reason why I put it there. I will explain later when we come to that. The second one on that list is...
No, we'll get to your agenda.
I'm talking about that,
of moving from party to party.
Is making a law. We need... The National Assembly need to make a law that will restrict we politicians. That will restrict we politicians not to jump ship when you are already in an office. Until that is done, we can't do anything about it. Because when you, let me put it this way, if you watch Criminal Minds, they will bring up the constitution of that country. The criminal law, they'll bring it down and begin to say, where are the loopholes? With that loopholes, they find a way to commit a crime, and they even have lawyers that will tell them, do this and do this, I will be able to bring you out. You understand what I'm saying? That's how politics is. Until we sit down in our National Assembly to say, we are going to make this law so that if a House of Assembly member or a House of Rep member or a senator who was elected in his or her constituency or in his or her senatorial zone come into the red chamber or the green chamber, you are not allowed to jump ship while you are in office. Let me make an example. I like what APC did. They are not my favorite party. I like what they did right now. They show the spirit of loyalty to party. When most of them in the Labour Party jumped the ship and went back to APC, they were all thinking that is just going to be the end of it. But they all went there, not knowing that the people have been in the APC who have been working to save the party. They pet them. You know when you pet a child to school, they pet them to attend the primaries, attend the screening. Now they cannot go to another political party and contest. Now, if you look at it, permit me to use that word, they are at the moment for the next 4 years relegated from politics. That is why it's good for a politician to have a plenty office. You must have a profession. You must have a business that gives you money, not just depending on what you're going to earn in politics. That still comes down to the policies and the bills that we, the National Assembly members, by the grace of God in the NDC, that we need to push. That every person representing the constituency, you have to represent that constituency for that 4 years or 5 years before jumping the ship, before joining another political party. If we're able to do that, you see all this political torso, people jumping ship, disobeying the rule of law, that will automatically stop.
It's going to be a difficult one because people have the right to assembly and they can do whatever they want to do.
I understand.
But let's get to your agenda. I'm looking at 6 of them. Child support and protection, effective representation, and voice of the people.
Very, very quick.
Oversight and accountability of government institutions.
100%.
Vocal participation in national budget process, peace building and industrial harmony, and active committee engagement and legislative work.
Yeah.
Laudable.
Thank you.
And I saw you actually took your time to break down what each of those things mean.
It's something that have been on my file.
So let's talk practical here.
Yeah.
What is the major need of the people of Ishan? Esan North.
Esan Northeast.
I have to get this thing right.
Yeah.
Esan Northeast and Esan Southeast.
Esan Southeast. Agbazilolo.
Yes. What would you say is the biggest problem? And what would your representation sort in that area?
At this very moment, I must tell you, the governor is not my favorite person, but at the moment he's doing a lot in Edo State.
He's from your constituency as well.
He's from my constituency. He's from Eagle, he's from Esan Central. He's doing a lot when it comes to road infrastructure and the rest of it. The last time I traveled, the last month, I saw a lot of things. But there are children on the street that we need to remove. Insecurity is growing in Nigeria. When you look at the foundation that gave birth to that insecurity that is growing in Nigeria, it's because our children have been left alone to survive. They've been left alone to survive in the sense that if you don't have a father, if you don't have a mother, you have to feed for yourself. I was molded at school in an environment in Germany, molded in a society where the child becomes so important that even when it's not your own child, you have to respect that person. You have to respect that child. Give the moral support and anything support that you can give for that child to grow. For example, removing the children that are on the street in Eastern South and Eastern Northeast, it is very easy to do. We are not that much. We are just like two local governments when it comes to House of Rep issue and all that. Ubiaja and Uromi. And we have 21 wards. Based on my statistics, we have nothing less than 20-something thousand children that are out of school. Not just out of school. They are not well funded. Most of the schools are so dilapidated that you go to the school today, you keep connecting with yourself. Is it where our children are learning? And when you have a person...
How is it? I'm just a little curious. Sorry to interrupt
you.
How is it that how many governments, consecutive governments, I mean, we had that of Adams Oshomole, he had a program on education, you had Obaseki, who said he had Edo Best, teachers were all hailing that program, and we always see that the schools are properly built. And I'm wondering, how many schools are there possibly in Edo State that after every administration,
there's some education drive?
You're still saying dilapidated schools.
Exactly.
How is it that is happening in Edo State? Is it film trick that we're saying, or what exactly is happening
What
there?
they are giving is what is called cosmetic solution.
Cosmetic?
Cosmetic solution. We need to find a basic solution that will first of all build a foundation and will continue to maintain it. Like you earlier said, Oshomole came after the era, or rather the regime of, or rather the day of Lucky Benedion. Edo State was an eyesore. Edo State was an eyesore. Oshomole came and did a few jobs. I must tell you the truth. He didn't work that much in Edo Central. He didn't work that much. But he did some few jobs. He was able to give Edo State the limelight because the resources was limited. We understand that. Obaseki came. Obaseki brought the Edo Best and all that. Obaseki invested on teachers in Edo State. When you go to Edo State today, teachers will be able, you see that confidence in them. They will be able to demonstrate that confidence that I am well trained. I came into the system with the right process. That's what matters. Training and retraining program for our teachers. But at this very moment, as I speak, when I say it's a cosmetic solution to our problem in Edo State, is that a situation where the children learning center are not well furnished according to the international standard, it is worrisome.
So what do you, as a House of Reps member, should you win, intend to do about that? Because don't forget, you're only there to make laws.
Yeah.
So what laws do you hope you can make that will affect the state of schools within your constituency?
That is where you have the Child Protection Bill. The Child Protection Bill is not just about supporting children or family with financial support monthly and all that.
You've taken a look, sorry to interrupt you, you've taken a look at the Child Rights Act.
I saw it.
Before you came up with the family. So what's the major difference?
The major difference is that
the
major difference is that in that Child Rights Act, there is no financial support for the children, child born. And at the same time, there is no special bill protecting children from doing hard labor? If it does, it's not totally spared out. So in the next bill that we are going to push, every child under the age of 12 should be able to decide, this is what I want to do. I want to go to school. I want to learn the technical. I want to use Germany as, for example. Germany is a country that have a society, different society. If a child is born today, automatically that child it has what is called social security number. That social security number, that child become all his or her benefit monthly. It might not be enough for the child or for the parents to actually cater for that child. That is what they call it kindergarten. You see, parents come together, they can try to have 3 or 4 children and because they can earn more money. But it supports and encourages parents to take care of their children. Because if you do not take care of your children, government will cease giving you that financial support. Even while the house you are living, as a mother, as a father, you also have what is called incentive, like a reduction of your house rent, things like that. So we need to bring all those things into the bill. Because in Edo State,
if that is what you really seek for the people of Edo State, why are you not running the local election in Edo State?
Because
some people will say,
not just only for Edo State entirely. When you read down there a little bit, you will discover that I said the entire country.
So why don't you do the state assembly?
Yeah, laws are made in state assembly for a different reason. The problem the children are facing, I'm using the children in my constituency as a point of contact because that is where I come from. The children in Nigeria, the Nigerian children who are under the 18 years old need to be taken care of. For example, what is happening in the north? If they are well educated, well informed, have all the right information, have all the right skills to learn, have all the right tools to learn something. Even when you cannot go to school and do theory and the rest of it.
You're not answering our question.
Yeah.
If it's a local issue, why aren't
it's not just a local issue. It's a national issue.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
If you're looking at your community and you're very passionate about the young people in your community, why don't you run at the state assembly and then focus on your community and see how you can bring your children out instead of going the route that you're taking right now?
I understand that part clearly. There are some things you say this is no longer a local issue. That's why I said it's a national issue. In Edo State, we have insecurity problem. We have herdsmen, we have people kidnapping and the rest of it. And when most of these people are arrested, they are not just our locals. They are coming from another region. That's why we always say the problem of insecurity in the country is something of us have to come together and address it. So, if we're able to address the issue of the children not being in school, if we're able to address the issue of children being taken care of from the tender age, we will not have more children being coerced, being forced to take arms and join Boko Haram or join every other terrorist organization just for 100,000 to go and carry out bombing. You know what I'm saying? So that is the reason why we need to make a law to make sure every children in this country is protected. And that you also need to talk about is that every child needs to be digitally documented in this country for us to know how many are we in this country.
I agree completely with you, and I'm sure Kayla agrees as well. But you have to scale the primaries first if all of these things.
Definitely.
Will there be primaries? NDC.
At the moment, I believe there is going to be primaries, but we have not received any circular after the screening, and the promise that they're going to vet every document submitted and every individual coming because they want to win an election. They don't want to feed in candidates that doesn't have credibility to win an election, don't have any credibility at the grassroots level.
So that will happen this week?
Hopefully. Today is Monday. We hope there's going to be a new circular coming up from the NDC.
All right, Honorable Benjamin, we wish you the very best as you proceed and move forward in your career. Thank you so much for speaking with us this morning on Sunrise Daily. Honorable Benjamin Oyadmendan, yes, is an aspirant on the platform of the Nigerian Democratic Congress for the House of Representatives for Eastern Northeast and Eastern Southeast Federal Constituency. Well, thank you once more.
Thank you so much.
Well, that's where we draw the curtains on Monday's edition of Sunrise Daily. We're hoping that you'll be with us throughout this week. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Maokbe Ogun Yusuf.
We've got business at the top of the hour. I'm Kayla Magwa. Enjoy the rest of your day.